Wrestlingtalk.com proudly presents The Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us. Presented by KingofAmazon.com. When you think of Amazon, think KingofAmazon.com. Hard to Kill just finished tonight. Impact Wrestling's pay-per-view for the month of January. And wrestling Twitter is split. Divided over comments that were made. It was not recent. It had to have been over the last couple of years, because I don't think anybody's really talked as to the time frame as to when certain comments decided to be arisen that Tessa Blanchard made to various wrestlers, and that she, according to the accounts of several notable wrestlers around the space, whether in WWE or outside of the company, there have been many people that have decided to go ahead and they make comments attesting about their frustration over Tessa Blanchard and the way that she treated people. With one person being told that she was given a racial epithet. It was a black wrestler that was told the N-word by Tessa. Now, nothing's been verified at all. I mean, this is all accounts here, and cancel culture is upon us. So the bottom line is, I'm seeing people that, I respect as podcasters and as journalists in the industry. And, listen, they can have political views all they want, but then their politics are now coming into the wrestling space. That's pathetic. It's not good for business. And people can't be allowed to, have a mea culpa. We can't have anybody apologizing for what happens. We can't have people being able to go and understand, listen, if somebody came across this way, it's, again, cancel culture at its worst. Okay, this could have been handled at any time before, immediately after, or people never decided to say anything until somebody decided to stir something up. Yes, you know who stirred it up? Tessa Blanchard herself. She made a comment that a lot of people did not take well and got very upset by. And it created an avalanche of negative criticism by wrestlers and to the fans that decided to go ahead and pile on. And I said on Twitter, I can't stand people that are really willing to go along with the cancel culture shit. Can we attack people? Can we actually criticize people when something actually happens? Do we need to restore shit that has to be 5, 10, 15, 2 years ago? I mean, at what point do we allow the statute of limitations, to use a legal term, at what point do we let things go? At what point do we say, okay, things happen for a reason, and it's, no skin off our back. But obviously, some of the people that are here, for some reason, they got upset that Impact Wrestling decided to give us another main event card. And by the way, she was in the main event in other matches before, going after titles, okay? She was in the main event of feuds, period, on Impact Wrestling. For the fact that she was going after the world title against Sami Callihan tonight, and for whatever reason, Tessa Blanchard now is the focus of ridicule and being called racist. Do we understand that she's dating a Mexican wrestler? And as far as I know, she also dated Ricochet for a multi-year relationship. Everybody wants to go and just use the racist term, but you understand, from politics in general, regardless of what your political views are, listen, for me, I'm an independent. I don't care one way or the other. I have my opinions on things, but you know what? When it comes to the culture, when it comes to social culture, listen, I respect everybody. I respect people's views. But man, when people want to be puritanistic, and because certain people feel entitled, well, this person should be. Okay, so maybe Laurel Van Ness, when she was in Impact Wrestling and now she's Chelsea Green, maybe she felt like she should have been an Impact World Champion before Tessa Blanchard did. Or should have gotten a better push than Tessa Blanchard did. Maybe Sienna, before now becoming Allison Kay and NWA, maybe she wanted to have that spotlight. That's beside the point. We don't know the ulterior motives as to why a lot of these female wrestlers decided to go ahead and interject into the mix. Tessa Blanchard has left it alone. She did make comments after she won the world title tonight saying she's human, she's not perfect, but you know what? She stood strong in her promo and she left it out there. Impact Wrestling, for some people, they want to go ahead and cancel that company. But again, there's a reason why they put the name of their title, their pay-per-view tonight, Hard to Kill. It's almost full circle here tonight, how Impact Wrestling, it's a company that will not go away. After all the ridicule of the TNA wrestling days, Dixie Carter, Jeff Jarrett, Vince Russo, what have you, Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, all the stench that goes by that, the new regime of Anthem Entertainment, Ed Norholm, Don Callis, Scott D'Amore, they've left all that behind. And people that want to go ahead and get upset with Tessa Blanchard, and this is as far as I know, I don't know anybody saying anything about this outside of the company. Right? And this is all, everybody that's commenting right now, that's tagging Tessa Blanchard as a racist. These are people outside of the company. They're not in that locker room, as far as I know. They might be working with her in independent promotions, but as far as I know, that's where everybody's at. So people decided to get onto Twitter and start going on. It is split, more or less down the middle. People are saying that Tessa and Sammy tore the house down. Awesome match. Great story. Well done. And the story was fantastic. If you got a chance to watch the, almost 10-minute preview to this match that they did on Tuesday Night's Impact, wow, was fantastic. It was so well played out. The story was so well told. And really, going back over a year to get to this story where it's at. And for Sami Callihan to get to where he was, trying to get to this belt and winning it. And then it's just these two just having at it. And the OVE attacks and everything that go along with it. Just so well done. I really do appreciate all what was going on there. It was really great. Now, I don't want to make comments to people that are making comments on Twitter. But I just want to take the most extreme comments of people that are talking on Twitter about this issue. Now, I'm going to say this again. I am not a person to go ahead and make gossip and to take down anybody and their comments, what they make on other podcasts or on Twitter. It doesn't matter. Everybody's going to say what you're going to say, leave it out there. But hopefully people were smart enough not to go and just feel like, okay, everybody's getting upset for all these little things. And I'm going to just take one comment from one Twitter. I'm going to take a couple of comments. There's the one side, praise. The other side, complete ridicule. Here's what I'm going to tell you. This is what I just got on Twitter. This is somebody that commented on some of the Don Tony from the Don Tony Kevin Castle show said. And this is somebody that off and on they might, co-host a show together. These are shows that are on with each other. I'm just going to say, listen, it's Joey Numbers from Wrestling Soup. And there's others that feel the same way. And I understand it. That's fine. I'm completely disagreeing. But here's what he said. I could give two shits if Impact Wrestling never ran a show again. The idea, though, that someone can abuse their peers and then be heralded and entrusted to be a draw that puts foods in their coworkers' families' mouths is gross. It's fucking gross. He's offended by the racist remarks, which understood. Again, why could this not be resolved? And if there's no resolution, this was handled backstage in the locker room. Somebody must have come in to handle this. Not too long ago we saw, what was it? The ongoing storyline with Tommy Dreamer Wrestling Court. This is a Wrestling Court thing. Back in the day, the old school wrestlers, this would be hammered out in the locker room. This would be resolved. But people are very sensitive. And listen, am I saying what she said? If in fact was true, I'm going to assume she said it. And I'm going to say she made a mistake. You can't talk like that. You just can't. You shouldn't talk like that. That's not a word I like to use, and I don't want to use. Okay, but, minorities can be very sensitive to it. People in general can be sensitive. And the one thing is that, There are derogatory remarks for every kind of race, creed, or religion. We know that. And honestly, it's not about having to pick out that somebody said the N-word and it's just so offensive. No, all of them are offensive, okay? All of them. People should just respect each other and not use those kind of words. You have better words to use, okay? You got $2 words and using a penny word like the N-word. Let's just be honest here. People should just be smart enough to not use it. And the truth is, if those derogatory words are used on ourselves, we shouldn't be saying them either. Like, I would personally love it if, people that would use the N-word because they might represent themselves or they might associate with using the word in their own vernacular. I wish they didn't use it either. But that's not going to change. That's a way of life forever. I mean, for as long as anybody could even think of. So everybody got upset about this, and I'm like, all right, well, and that's fine. But again, everybody was just upset about it. And it's amazing how people got into it. And now, Don Tony just wrote back. He says, I haven't expressed any opinion on Tessa winning the title, but I do have an opinion with that way the promotion handled her removal. Just my opinion, which I have the same right to make as those who totally disagree with me. Because they don't want to book someone who spits in other wrestlers' faces and call them racial slurs. Would you hire that person? So again, it's a debate that they can at least talk about, which is good. But other than that, I mean, everybody else is really upset about what was being said. And it's like, So my thing is, I just don't care about it. I mean, I wish, I don't care about the argument. Fine. Everybody's going to say what they're going to say. But my personal thing is, I wish people would please get a life. And please understand that, man, words it's not violence. It's not something worse. My God, people say stupid things all the time. And then the worst thing is, okay, yes, you want to confront that person, confront it as it happens. Or have it as a matter that can be handled within professionals, right? But to take this to Twitter and to just air out dirty laundry because that's just the way things are, that's just the way people want to do things, it's so stupid. And it really is juvenile. It's a juvenile behavior. For everybody to go and use wrestling Twitter as a playground. I see the same thing about the Wednesday Night Wars and how that's being handled as well. Everybody wants to go after that. It's just so stupid. And I don't understand where everybody wants to go after that. Okay, another person remarks about the fact that Tessa loosely addressed the controversy. Somebody else mentions, okay, it takes a special kind of human to degrade somebody. But of course, why would she dare take accountability for her actions when she can attempt a failed attempt, but nonetheless the attempt to victimize herself? How's that victimizing? Just believing that, we said something that is just, it upset people. And the fact of the matter is, I don't see where she's doing that. She's not necessarily taking the blame. I mean, and the thing is, I don't know if she took the blame or not. Nobody knows. But the truth is, does it really matter? I mean, is it going to make any of you feel better that she comes out and gets some big mea culpa? What do you want her to vacate the title? Impact Wrestling to fire her? Again, the cancel culture. There is no answer to your vehement outcries and your attacks. The people that are doing this, in some cases, are entitled. They feel like everybody needs to be thinking and acting and doing things their way, but of which there is no set parameters. There are no rules. No, we can move around how we feel about things any time of the day because it's all emotions. And people want to have their emotional outbursts and take out what they're unhappy about in their own lives, okay? And just vehemently just go ahead and spew on Twitter. Whether you're professional and you understand what you're saying or you don't. But again, everybody's got something about somebody. And I mean, it's fine. I mean, some people just get caught up into hearing what other people tell them to think, act, and feel. And some people just don't want to go ahead and think for themselves. I mean, just understand you're going to stand on an island that not everybody's following with you on. And God forbid somebody doesn't agree with you. Then look at how people need to react. They need to lash back and attack one another. For what? Because most importantly, what I see right there with Joey Numbers, he's willing at least to debate it. Some people that are on here that are podcasters or hosts or journalists, I guarantee you, if I made a comment to them, they're not going to respond back. Or if they're going to, they're going to try to use some way to deflect or call the said person a racist or something else, because they will not be willing to debate and discourse, to offer debate and discourse, to at least respond back or give somebody else a chance to talk back and forth. But if you don't want to feel like doing that, well, I can't help you there. Nobody's going to help you there. But this is the problem with people, and where social media has gotten people to a point where they feel like, well, you know, it's all about my feelings. It's not about facts. It's about my feelings. My feelings hurt. As if the N-word was being told to you. And you need vindication. You need the punishment to be given. You want to be judge, jury, and executioner. You want to be the one that says, no, she needs to get everything taken from her. She needs to be destroyed. At what point is enough? There isn't. For many out there, there isn't anything that will be enough to satisfy and insatiate the anger that some people have, the vitriol that they have. They would rather see other people suffer that are more successful than them doing something about themselves. It's not perfect for anybody, okay? It's not. I know I'm far from perfect, but all of you are the same way. You're far from perfect. Quit trying to be Puritans. Stop fighting with each other on wrestling Twitter. I mean, some of you, I hope, if you get, if you can't stop people from fighting on Twitter, then at least do something where you are not beneath having debate and discourse over to why you said what you said. Okay, guys, that's the most important thing. Because if you cannot lift yourself up to a certain level to be able to back up your claims with facts, or at least be willing to listen to somebody else's other point of view, then you're not good people. You're not good people. You're keyboard warriors. That's not good for wrestling. That's not good for anybody. A lot of young people here, easily persuaded, easily hurt, easily manipulated, easily clickbaited. That's what's horrible about social media. This is the evil cancer, the tumor that is social media and what goes on here. So for the good that happens where we can interact and we can make comments about anything that goes on in wrestling, and we can interact with any of the stars that we want, for some people it's just not enough. People just want to go ahead and be upset and say what they want to say. Following on wrestling Twitter a little more, I could see Don Tony Joe Numbers kind of like talking more about this. Don Tony mentions, everyone feel free to fill in my opinion on Tessa Blanchard winning the Impact World title because I haven't said shit about it yet. You can hear my opinion on Wednesday's show. Okay, and then Joey Numbers gets upset and makes mention that Don Tony's hot chocolate comment too was meant to insinuate people are apparently pussies for being bothered by someone being a blatant racist shithead. People have the right to be pissed about this, like plenty. Then he moves along and says, multiple people who were there and the person who she did it to all confirmed this. This isn't some house of cards with some grand conspiracy to get her. So anyway, which way, everybody's upset. Some people are not. I'm just upset that everybody's getting all caught up on this. And like I said, it doesn't make a difference what everybody's going to say. Everybody's going to have their comments. And I'm not here to go and criticize anybody's comments. I'm making the point, I think everybody out here is just upset in general. I just don't get, again, we could have been like this for a long time. And if this all actually happened, then this should have been handled backstage. Not by, it shouldn't have been at this point. But the thing is, it just happens to be coincidentally, all this gets stirred up the night before Tessa Blanchard goes for the world title. That's my point. Nobody sees the irony of that. But it doesn't matter when this happens. It just needs to be called out because it's the perfect time to go ahead and trash Tessa and hope that Impact Wrestling would not do what they think is the right thing, air quotes, by giving her the title tonight. Either which way, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not even going to bring any more about that. The Hard to Kill pay-per-view tonight. Ken Shamrock beats Madman Fulton. Ken Shamrock, he is amazing at his age. At 55 years old, I think it is, 56. That guy can still go like he does, and he's still strong as shit. He's still in a amazing shape. Interesting match to see Madman Fulton, and I figured Ken Shamrock would take the win on this. I really did feel like that. Ace Austin Trey Miguel was a hell of a match, and by the way, seeing X Division matches with a real interwoven story, the whole thing about Trey's mom and that whole story behind it. I mean, Ace Austin, what a well-built character, being a scumbag, a piece of shit. The whole thing with Eddie Edwards' wife and then just going along with other things. Really, well done. Well done. I mean, just the story being told. And these are the size of these guys. You would never see many other companies that would give stories like this to guys of this size. I mean, AEW to a point, they're trying to give that to Darby Allin a little bit. You know, Joey Janela, some of the others. MLW does a lot of this because all their size, all of their guys are a little shorter size. Injustice is an example like that. And you're seeing it. And it's amazing. You know, I mean, Ace Austin looks pretty strong in this match. And Trey Miguel, great job selling, by the way. Regardless of the spot fest, this was not like an overly spot fest match. There was a story being told, and I'll tell you, they don't do the whole lot of the spot monkey stuff. They really don't go that crazy on it. Very rare, but this was a very well done match. Wasn't surprised. I felt like with Tyra Vacker even being the longest running Knockouts champion, I didn't think they would go and go to the route where they would take the belt off of Tyra. I don't think Jordan Grace is at that level yet. I think keeping her within that title belt picture is good. And ODB being brought into the match, I thought the story they told for that was actually kind of interesting. And, you know, ODB added a different perspective of the match. And it was a good match, nevertheless. Little weirdness for Brian Cage and Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam with new music. That was interesting. Katie Forbes now with another person accompanying Rob Van Dam named Jennifer, also coming on stage. Well, I think Jennifer's better looking, the blonde. Not so cosmetically enhanced, if you will. And we got a no contest in the match. Brian Cage got Van terminated, and Cage goes out the door, goes out with an injury, and doesn't take a pin on the way out. He gets to go out strong. And what I mean going out, he has apparently signed a new contract where he's going to be joining All Elite Wrestling. A very interesting signing for All Elite Wrestling. It's a big guy. They definitely need some big guys in there. And I could imagine what kind of people they want to bring in right away once they get him started. So instead, we get Daga having a match with Rob Van Dam, which was, short and sweet. Nothing big to that. They made a little bit of a tease to the fact that Daga and Rob Van Dam would have to face with each other at some point. So they did a little tease to bring it in, but obviously Brian Cage decides to make the deal. We'll have a lot to say about that coming up on the Wednesday show coming up. We'll talk about that some more. We don't know when he's going to be coming in. That's the other we don't know yet. So I'd like to see what happens when we get to Wednesday. Could we see a debut as early as Wednesday for him on Dynamite? We'll talk about that coming up. But 20-minute match for Eddie Edwards and Michael Elgin, and a very good match, by the way, for the Call Your Shot trophy. Edwards continues to hold on to it. That's good stuff. Good match with these guys. And these guys work with each other. I want to say they both work with each other back in Ring of Honor. But good stuff between these guys. Moose over Rhino, 13-minute match. Moose getting over was the right thing. Really the one match that felt a little bit hardcore in the most sense. Rich Swann could not compete legitimately for injury that he had in a night on a Friday night pay-per-view or special event bash at the brewery, which was in San Antonio, Texas, prior to the pay-per-view. So Willie Mack goes in, handicap, puts out a great match for 10 minutes. Wow. Made it look like he had a chance to win. So Willie Mack looked like a strong competitor and looked like a star out there. So there's a lot that's going to be done with them down the line, I'm pretty sure. Meantime, North retained the tag team titles. Blanchard, Sami Callihan, intergender match for the Impact World Championship. This 23 minutes, 49 seconds for this match. Tessa Blanchard, again, the way these two have told a feud together has been fantastic. So much was said about, really Tessa just coming from behind and was such a babyface in this match. The crowd, I don't feel like anybody was deterred or was affected at all of what was being said on social media. I don't think anybody was really affected at all by it. Nobody was saying a word about it. So all that was being said was on Twitter itself. And that's fine, But again, the match itself, Sami Callihan the way he portrayed himself was so damn violent and so reckless. I mean, really, the story they told about how they were going to treat each other was what they said. You felt the intensity. The buildup of this match was one of the best buildups I've seen in wrestling in years. This is one of the best buildups of any wrestling feud I've seen in the last 5 years. I really feel that. This was so well done. The people that really do this such as good right now, I feel like, is what NWA is doing right now with Nick Aldis and Tim Storm. I think that's been really well told. I love what was being told about this. The whole time I always felt like Tessa had a chance, was within striking distance of winning winning a match over Sami, let alone if she got a chance to go after the title against Sami. I felt like they could do that. OVE to deal with, it was just Sami out there doing his thing. And again, the way Sami has worked his matches, he has basically always worked against the to never look like he can always be completely overpowering and strong. He never looks overbearing. He always looks like that, he's a bit of the chicken shit heel, that he can get taken down and he's vulnerable. And there are places where he can be vulnerable, and that's what we saw here. Match ends with 2 Canadian destroyers and the DDT to finish up. Tessa wins. Crowd goes crazy. Loved it. I think Tessa will be a great champion. And personally, I think, I like what she's been doing with her work. I can't say anything about the character right now because I can't. For everybody to go after the character of Tessa Blanchard, okay, people confirming it, this and that, whatever. Okay, everybody's making their comments. But again, I have to give benefit of the doubt and say, you know what? Regardless, if she said it, she said it. Own up to it. I would imagine this was already handled long time before. And just because somebody says one thing to somebody, and oh my God, you say one thing about somebody, and that's supposed to cancel your career. If that's the way people thought, and that's the way people reacted to things, there won't be much of a life, man. My God, it's like you're just throwing people away because they don't follow your feelings. Something you can't have a thick skin. You're not allowed to go ahead and feel, okay, how's it going to be when you say something wrong? And you will. And you will. And maybe you already have. And you're upset by it. You want other people to feel your pain, feel your emotions. You want to feel how you feel. They should feel guilt and sympathy and empathy and be crying for you and feel bad for you. Because you're not privileged enough to have that person's feelings, right? Oh, you don't understand my plight, my pain. You have privilege. This is this woke culture stuff that has been going on for the last couple of years. Honestly, for the last 10 years plus. It's stupid. Can we just get along with each other? And realize, you know what? Some people are again, human. Give people a little room to grow. for God's sake, enough of the overreacting, and most importantly, resurrecting shit that happened could have been years ago for all we know. And for that, okay, like there's some kind of a respect in the locker room that, fans are supposed to have. You know what? Again, this is wrestling. Let the professionals handle what this would be as a problem, because none of you should be casting the first stones, okay? And thinking that you know what's best when it comes to privilege or understanding, a situation and knowing how a situation should play along, okay? You're not judge, you're an executioner. You're not anything. Your opinion does not, just because people will weigh your opinion on social media doesn't mean it matters, okay? Your opinions don't matter. People need to go and get a little bit of a skin and realize, you know what, things going to happen like this. It's how you overcome. It's how you deal with it. It's the medal, the testament of your well-being, of who you are. Where you're able to let things, you do not keep a chip on your shoulder. You knock that chip off your shoulder. Move along with your life. And realize, you know what, it's not perfect for everybody, but I'm going to make myself overcome all this, and I'm going to be a better person as a result. And if you're not willing to do that, not my problem. And that's what it comes down to. One other story I want to bring up before we wrap things up. Marty Scurll, a very interesting story here. So he has signed a new multi-year contract with Ring of Honor. Dave Meltzer reported earlier this week the money being offered to him is in the range of what main roster stars are making. So the deal is the most lucrative deal in Ring of Honor history. His deal expired in November, and many people believed he would be going to AEW. His talks were ongoing. His new deal will keep him with the company for a few more years. Scurll will be taking over booking duties for Hunter Delirious Johnson. And this past weekend shows Marty Scurll was reportedly heavily involved. And also for a show coming up in Baltimore, which is said was to be his idea. Delirious will continue to work for the company, and Scurll's deal will allow him to continue to work for the NWA. So he'll get to be working that Hard Times pay-per-view mode, no doubt. We don't know how that's going to work out, but there you go. Interesting to see that there. Marty Scurll booking Ring of Honor. I don't know what his history was booking anywhere else to warrant that he could be somebody that could do the same thing the Elite are doing, where they're kind of booking their all elite wrestling and making their way forward. The other question is, would this open the door to other relationships with AEW or NWA or others? But I'm willing to go ahead and give a little more time to go look at Ring of Honor and see what they do. See what they come up with. I'm curious. I'd like to see what he's able to do with that roster. And see when you have a wrestler doing the book, if there's just some things that maybe Delirious wasn't able to go and do, because, Delirious had a great run booking for the company. But again, it is about who you know that's on the roster and what you can do with them. And some of the changes being made that are not working, because I think the book does need to change from time to time from some person to some person to make things go a different direction. Anyway, leave it all there. Also, we'll talk coming up February, another Saudi Arabia show, so a little more cash grab for WWE for the first quarter of 2020. That's all coming up. And we'll get more into the outcry of what happens here with Tessa and Sammy. In general, I think this was an A show. I enjoyed it a lot. And I think Impact Wrestling just been doing a good job. They're telling great stories. They got some great wrestlers on the roster. I'm enjoying their product. I really enjoy Tuesday nights. Impact Wrestling is one of the main enjoyable things I have to watch each week. It's been very good. We'll leave it there. Thanks for listening in, finding the show. Till Wednesday, we'll do another Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us.
Thank you for listening to the Wrestling is Real podcast, brought to you by KingofAmazon.com. Help support the King of Podcasts. Shop now at KingofAmazon.com.